my fabulous people. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Can you all believe we are on a brink of another year? Like just the beginning. It is amazing. Happy New Year. I pray that you all had an awesome holiday. I pray that you enjoyed your family. If you are a person who have empty seats at the table, have had empty seats at the table, and I know my heart goes out to you. I know what that's like. But I'm glad you got to spend the holiday with the people that you love. If you didn't celebrate Christmas, maybe you celebrated Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. However you brought in your new year. I pray that it was amazing. I pray that you had an awesome new year. And I pray that you have some great things happening for yourself this year because I am expecting great things for me and my family. And so I pray the same for you all. Um, I told you all at the beginning that I was not going to be gone and come back like Happy New Year and look at me. But guys, my daughter has been on what is that, Christmas break, winter break, and she just went back to school today. Yes. You see the lights are off. It is just quiet. I was like, I don't even want to record with no lights on today. I just want to sit here, be comfortable, and talk to these fabulous people to see how you all are doing. How have you all been? I pray that you had an awesome, awesome, restful time. You didn't celebrate too much, didn't, um, you know, overdo it. Just enjoyed yourself. That's what I really pray that you really did. But welcome to 40s Plus Mom Movement. Welcome to everyone who's joining in. I don't know where this video finds you. Maybe it's going to find you in the morning. It's going to find you in the evening, tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know where it's going to find you, but I pray that when it does find you, that it's something that is really going to be enlightening and helpful to you because we live in a time now where we need that, especially as parents. So many things we deal with, so many challenges that we face just as parents. I'm trying to tell y'all, I never knew, and I've never looked down on parents, but I've never really knew the amount of work. I mean, the amount of work that it really takes to really raise another little human. And my baby, she's 4. She will be 5 next month, guys. I cannot believe that she'll be 5. But even out of those 5 I say short, long, out of those short years of being a parent, almost 5 short years of being a parent, there has been so much. And it's just so much to talk about. And this is why I had to revamp this channel, not just 40s Plus Mom Movement, just about my experiences, but parenting challenges because, guys, we face a lot of things. And this, the one thing that I've learned about parents is that we don't always talk about our challenges. It's like we are, I'm not going to say afraid to, but I don't feel like, even as parents, sometimes we don't think that other people understand what we go through, or we don't feel like they'll get it, or or we may feel like they'll judge us if we say certain things, how we feel certain ways, or things that we deal with. But let me tell you something. This is not that kind of channel. This is no judgment. There is no judgment because the things that I talk about are things that I experience, and it may be helpful to you. And if it's helpful to you, then that's a good thing because every parenting experience is different. My daughter is not the same as your daughter or your son. Or you may be a parent of multiples. You may have triplets, you may have twins, you may have maybe not triplets or twins, you might have 3, 4 kids. You might have 2. Or you may just have one like me. But the one thing that we all do have in common, and that's a main factor, is we are parents. And that's why I still wanted to open up the channel. And I know I say my fabulous people now because there are men who are parents as well. There are men who may come across this channel and they may want to see a topic or come across a topic that's interesting to them. So that's why I say my fabulous people. But y'all ladies, y'all know y'all always fabulous. We are fabulous. We're always going to be. But today's topic I want to talk about, it is called, and you've seen it in the beginning, it is called Co-Parenting is Possible. Co-parenting is possible. This is something that I don't think anybody ever plans for. When you are, or when you have a child and you are with the person that you have the child with, like I said, you could be a female, you could be a male, I don't know. Um, you never foresee co-parenting. I mean, when you are excited about going to the appointments and doing the shopping for the baby and getting the room ready and the families are excited and you just excited about the whole experience, you are not planning later on down the line saying, you know what, why don't we just think about co-parenting because it's probably going to happen, because that's not in the plans. Nobody plans to be a co-parent. Nobody plans for whatever you had to dissolve or end, and now you're put in a position where now you have to become parents who have to be on the same page while y'all aren't together. Nobody is ready for that. Nobody plans for that. Nobody is sitting there like cheering it on, co-parent, rah, rah, rah. No, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to think about because when you have to co-parent, it takes so much maturity. It takes a lot of maturity because you and that other parent have to make sure that you are doing the best for your child. And what makes that hard is that you have to do that regardless of how hurt you may have been, how angry you may be, I said may have been, no, how angry you may be, how betrayed you may have felt, or how broken your heart was. You have to put all that aside and you have to look and see the bigger picture. And that is not easy for a lot of people. It's not easy because the one thing that I know they always say it, and I've heard it, women are very emotional. We do have emotions. And a lot of times we don't always display them the correct way. Because if you make us angry, it depends. Let me tell you something. When you make a woman upset and you have hurt a woman and we feel like, oh, we know how to get you back. We know how to get you back. Because we have this little person right here. And we know you want to see this little person. But guess what? You can't see this little person. You can't spend time with this little person. What? You want to pick him up? What? You want to come see him? Hmm. Oh, wait a minute. And I know even how else. Let me take you for some child support. Let me make it real tough on you. Let me make it seem like now, yeah, you going to pay up now. Yeah, that's what we going to do. Let me hit your pockets. Let me make sure that I make this a long. We got this child gonna be 18. Let me drag you through the mud for 18 years. Let me make sure that you feel what I felt when you hurt me, when you broke my heart. Let me tell you something, and that is why co-parenting is impossible. It's because when we are hurt as women, we have the power to hurt others. It's a saying that says, hurt people hurt people. But I want you to take that saying and I want you to throw it out the window. And I want you to throw it out the window because when it comes to co parenting, the number one most important thing that you all have to do is be on the same page. Because what happens is that if you allow your emotions to take the driver's seat, that child will never experience the other parent. It has to be maturity. It can't be, it's going to be my way if you want to see your child. You can't play that kind of game because the only one who's suffering while you feel like you're winning, the child is suffering. See, we don't understand that our actions, they don't just affect the other person, they affect everybody. And I'm not saying even with the man because there are men who do have the power, just like the mothers. And they're saying the same thing. Oh, she wants to see our son? Hmm. Oh, okay. Well, it's gonna be on my terms. It's the same. It's the same conversation because we have these conversations with ourselves. We're not voicing them, or we might get on the phone and talk to some other women who are dealing with what is that term? Baby daddies, baby mamas. That let me tell you all something. That is the worst term ever. No, I will. I refuse to ever have that term, a baby mama. I'm not your baby's mother. No, don't call me that. She's not a baby. That's your daughter. I'm the mom of your child. But I'm not being entitled as, oh, you a baby mama. First of all, I'm not, that seems like high school to me. I'm not in high school. There has to be this respect there because whether we believe it or not, our children are constantly paying attention. They are learning from our examples. They are seeing how we treat each other, how we talk to each other, what we do, what we say, what we don't do, the language we use. If we're fussing, if we're fighting, your kids are paying attention to all of this and they are looking at it, absorbing it, and they will internalize it. And I'm going to tell you something your kids, they may not say it, but at that time, but it's going to be a time that they will say it. They repeat, they are like little recorders. They repeat everything. It don't matter how young they are. Like I said, my daughter is 4. My baby is 4. And so she will be 5 in February. But it's funny because my daughter will say things like when if I'm driving and if I say something, I beat the horn, don't do that. Oh, come on, dog. Just trying to say it in a nice way because people deal with driving issues. They have road rage, and sometimes I can get in my little in myself. And so if I be like, "Oh, come on, dog," and it's funny because my daughter won't say nothing then, but on another day we were driving, and I think something happened, and she said, "Oh, come on, dog." I said, "Oh my gosh." It shows you how much they pay attention. It shows you how much they watch what we do, what we say, how we treat one another. So when it comes to being a co-parent, you have to take that same mind frame when it comes to your child. See, our children are not pawns. They're not these pawns in the chess game where we can see, okay, well, if I do this, okay, if I move here, or don't let him see her, okay, let me see how he's going to feel about that. Or wait a minute, okay, well, I know that she wanted to pick her up today, but if I cancel that, and I'm like, nah, you can't do it. Okay, see, while we're getting satisfied and all excited about our choices or what we're doing in our actions, who's being hurt is the child. Let me say this to you. Your child sees their parents the same. We are our children's superheroes. Your child loves the mom. My daughter loves me. I said your child. My daughter loves me and her father the same. It does not matter what I do to that little girl. She loves me unconditionally, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Because as a parent, there are our kids see all of our sides. They see when we're happy. They see when we're upset, especially if they're living with you. They see everything about us. And then they get disciplined from us. We don't always say the nicest things to our kids if we can keep it real. We don't always say, "Oh, you're just so sweet. You just smell like strawberries and lemons." No, we be like, "You better get in there and clean that up. You better sit down before I spank your butt." And then not only that, you ever notice that how whenever when you even discipline your kids? For my daughter, if I mean, I give my daughter a lot, lots and lots and lots of chances and grace because I believe in talking to her. But let me tell you something. When mommy has had enough, mommy brings the rod. This is the hand of doom. That's what I call the hand of doom. And so when the hand has to come on that butt and she cries, this is the most interesting thing about her. Instead of her crying and running away in her room. She cries after I had to probably pop her. She cries and she comes and lays on me and hugs on me while she's crying. I look at her like, okay, didn't I just spank her butt? Why is she hugging me? That is because that is how much your and my child love me. It is an unconditional thing. I am mommy, the superhero. Her father can discipline her. He can tell her, no, Lily, no, don't do that. Go sit down. Okay, daddy, no, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. No, daddy, okay. But guess what? Then she goes back there, and I look back, and she's laying on him with her hands wrapped around his neck, just hugging him. Because guess what? That's daddy, the superhero. In her eyes, her parents are perfect. In her eyes, she wants to be a part of both of our lives. There are times that my daughter has asked questions before. Mommy, where's daddy going? Mommy, this and that. And I've answered her questions on her level. And I'll be like, well, your daddy's going home, but he'll be back. You'll see him again tomorrow. Because see, even in that moment right there, when she asks me a question, because let me tell you something, her father, he comes and see her. She sees him every day. She sees him when she's getting ready to leave for the bus. He makes sure he'll call her if he don't talk to her. If he doesn't see her, he'll text her, give her a good morning kiss for me, because he loves her that much. Why should I take away the joy of him being a parent because of what happened between us? My daughter has nothing to do with what happened between us. That's grown up issues. That's grown up messiness. She did not ask to be a part of the mess. All she knows is her mommy loves her and her daddy loves her. And I'm gonna tell you something else, and it's the truth. She doesn't see, even when we do have our moments when we have to have a conversation, because see, I don't believe in fussing and yelling and doing all that stuff. We have grown up conversations. And a lot of times our conversations, if it's something like that, we will stop in the middle. Like, because if my daughter is present and we have a disagreement or we don't agree on something, the one thing that I can honestly say about us is I'm not going to have a shouting match with another grown up in front of this child who's going to look at me like, what in the world is going on with my two parents? Y'all fussing like babies. And my daughter will tell you quick, you need to be nice. Be nice. But she just says that because if I'm saying something to her and I say something, she's like, Mommy, that's not nice. Be nice. And I'm like, if she'll tell me that, just imagine her having to see this type of chaos in front of her between two grown-ups. No, I'm gonna tell you what we don't do. I don't talk about her father in any negative way. Even if she says something, and I'll be like, well, you know what? Your daddy loves you. Your dad, it's like I'm trying to reinforce those things that are good, those things that are lovely, those things, because I don't want to paint a picture that's any different than what she sees. Because my daughter is at this age where she's going to need both her parents, not just at 4, but when she's 10, 14, 18, 24. And I want to have that relationship where she can go to both her parents and talk. He doesn't badmouth me when I'm around, because I'm gonna tell you something. When she goes with him to spend time to see her grandmother or spend the night or something like that, guess what? She's calling me, what are you doing? I'm playing, I'm doing this. They're not over there talking about, well, your mother's this, your mother's that. You know why? Because his family loves me. I have never given them a reason to dislike me as a person, because I am a respectful person. And the same for my family. My family likes him. They can have a conversation with him. I've never given my family a reason to make them believe that he's this person, because guess what I've learned? When you have relationship issues and you are no longer together, or y'all have went your separate ways, I am not going to paint the picture not just to my daughter, but to other people about this other person. Now, I will say this: if you are in a situation where it is life threatening and it is abusive, and you have to pull on other people because it's a life or death situation, that's different. That's when the co-parenting is a lot different. See, there are some cases, and I understand where courts have to get involved and where the other parent can't have contact for whatever reason. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the things that you can control. I'm talking about when you can control that your daughter, while yet you have grown up issues and, like I said, messiness to deal with, and you can put that aside and see that this is how you want to raise your child. Because even with co parenting, you still have to be on the same page. You still want the best for your child. You have to work it out where it's fair for your child, because your child is going to grow up, and the last thing that I want my child to see is, wait a minute, well, mommy didn't like daddy because mommy said daddy was this way, and then daddy said mommy was this way, and they just didn't like each other. I don't ever want that to be a conversation that comes out my daughter's mouth. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you all something. When I first had to start co-parenting, there were a lot of emotions that I dealt with. There were a lot of emotions. There were emotions that if I would have allowed them to take the driver's seat, I promise you, the way that me and my daughter's father flows now, no, it would not. It would not have happened. It wouldn't, because I was angry, I was hurt, and I would have feel, feelings of, like, these thoughts would come to my mind where, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh man, yeah. I remember it was one time. I remember that he kept calling my phone. My daughter's father kept calling my phone, and he kept calling my phone, and I would just look at it and let it ring. I wouldn't answer it. This is so funny. It was by the time, and I was just, and I think I was going to go visit my sister, and I was around her, and he kept calling, and she looked at me. She was like, "You ain't gonna answer that phone." I was like, "He good. He all right." Now this was early on when we when our relationship had pretty much just ended. It was still fresh. It might have been like a couple of days after that, and he would call my phone, and I mean, I would not answer that phone. And see, that wasn't me. I wasn't that person that wouldn't do that. Like if you called, no, I'd be like, "Hey, oh yeah," I would answer the phone, but I wouldn't. Cause I was still ticked. I was up. I looked at the phone, and I think I was status. When you said, when you see somebody's name, and like when a bull sees red and they just want to attack. That's what I would see every time his name came up. I would just see red, like the horns will come out, and I just wanted to, attack him like the bull does. The bullfighter, he wants to go for that red. Ungod, ungod. I hope that's the right word. But anyway. And so I remember that day finally when I did answer the phone. No, I didn't answer the phone. I don't think I ever answered the phone. I think that day when I had came home, and I think he had came over, and I remember, I think he asked me, he's like, "You don't want me to see my daughter? You want to stop me from seeing my daughter?" Like, it was some comment like that. And I really had to think about it, like, you know, to me, I was like, "What are you talking about? You can answer the phone. I mean, that's my daughter." And it's like when we are in this place of hurt and we don't look at the big picture, it's not just my daughter. It's not. She didn't just doesn't just belong to me. We both have a responsibility as her parents to impart something in her life. We both do. And the wonderful thing I think I have always told you all, because I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm born again. I'm a Christian. God knows how to deal with your heart when it comes to certain things. And I just remember when I would be mad and I would be just having those thoughts of just wanting to, because I wanted him to hurt like I hurt, you know? And I would have thoughts of things that could be in my mind. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. But what I'm doing is I'm about to use my child in a way that she wasn't birthed to be used as a game piece. where she can be played to be, well, you can be, oh, you want to see her today? Well, I'm busy. Or what, you want to take her here? Well, no, she can't go because I got stuff to do. Or no, I'm not answering my phone. Oh, you want to talk to her? It's like I'm using her in an inappropriate way. And she didn't ask for that because while yet I'm sitting here laughing and thinking it's all cute and funny if I would have yielded to those things. But inside, she's starting to think, well, how come my daddy doesn't want to see me? How come he don't call me? How come that he doesn't even want to, come pick me up? What if I want to go see grandma? How come I can't go over there? How come I can't do this? It's like in her mind, she will start thinking that her father doesn't love her. But guess who is looking like, yeah, I'm winning. But really, what I'm doing is I'm creating a child that's going to have some emotional and abandonment issues and have anger against a parent that wants to love her. But because her mommy is caught up in her own emotions and can't go forth with her life, she's going to allow her kid to start self destructing inwardly while yet I'm excited and I got a smile on my face. And now I don't understand as a mom, how come I got to deal with a child that's frustrated, angry, acting out at school, at home? I'm just painting the whole picture. Now that's not happening. And I thank God of that. I mean, outside of her being a 4-year old, she's going to be a child, but I didn't add unnecessary stress to her life because I withheld somebody that's important to her. Her dad is her superhero. She loves him unconditionally. It's nothing he can do. That girl will run to her dad. Daddy, she loves him. Pick me up. Dad. This is all she knows. She sees him one way. It's not up to me to paint a whole new picture. It's not fair to her to have to experience her mom's hurt and frustrations because mommy can't move forward with her life because daddy can't move forward with his life. And so now, not only did I now destroy something that was pure because her relationship with her dad is pure, now I have to spend time trying to undo what I've done. Because if I have added something to her life that wasn't supposed to be there, guess what? Whatever I sowed, I'm going to reap. So if I have put this picture in my daughter's head that her dad is this way and that way, and she starts formulating he doesn't love me, I got to do a lot of repair work. And that doesn't just start when she's 4. She's going to have to start. I'm going to have to keep repairing it and reminding her, no, your father loves you. Then I got to explain to her what I did as a parent. No, this is why co-parenting is possible. It's possible when we stop allowing our emotions to take control of the situation. We have to look at who is the most important in this picture. I've learned that being a parent is full of sacrifices. You sacrifice a lot because you want the bestest for your child. That is the number one goal that her father and I both have, is what Lily needs. That is best for her. And if I withhold anything from her, especially her parent, because guess what? She needs that father figure. I didn't have. My parents are still, thank God they're still alive and together. And my parents have always, they're together. They've been together. Under the household, same thing. But my dad worked a lot. So a lot of times as a girl, I didn't get to spend as much time with my father because when men are working and trying to make a living, making sure his family, my father, he had a wife and then he had 6 kids. So my father went out there, he had crazy hours. He didn't have the time to spend with me that my mom had. But in this situation, my daughter's father makes it his business to spend time with her. He sees his daughter every day. He sees her when she gets on the bus in the morning. He drives down here to make sure he's at her bus stop in the morning. if he makes sure that he's flexible, if I be like, look, I can't get her from school, I need you to get her at the bus stop today. It's like we have this type of communication where if I need him to do something that's pertaining to his daughter, it's not like me like, look, you know how you have that type of conversation, or you have that type of relationship with your child's parent. I told you it could be men or women watching this, and it's like you like, man, I want to call them, but if I call her, I don't know if she gonna be there to pick her up in time, or if I call him, he say he gonna do it, but he's not gonna do that. I don't have those conversations because when all this stuff happened and I had to grow up and mature, and I put aside my personal hurts, my personal feelings, my anger, when I allow those things, and I'm going to be honest, I'm free, guys. When you are able to move forward with your life and you focus on the most important part of this whole scenario, which is your child, there is a type of liberty and freedom that you have as a parent. You don't feel like hmm, he still has control of your life, or she has control of your life. No, you get to live your life. You get to heal from whatever it was. You are able to address whatever hurt you as you allow time to go by. It's like there is a whole different outlook that you can have. And we need that. This is why, if you are a parent and your co parenting is anything different, or it's different because you are not allowing that loving parent to be a part of this equation, you are stressing yourself out. You are. You are, and it doesn't mean that because we're co-parenting, oh, that we're getting back together. It doesn't mean that because I'm being nice, or I'm not even gonna say being nice, but because we're co-parenting, people think, are y'all getting back together? No, we just learned that we're grown-ups, we are adults, and we had to put on our big girl underwear and our big boy boxes, and we had to understand that we made this child, and this child doesn't deserve to be a part of our mess. The same parents that she saw when she came into this world in February is the same parents that was smiling and loving and kissing on her, even when we are not on the same page, meaning relationship wise, she's still going to get that. She's still going to see him be respectful to me. She's still going to see me be respectful to him. And I'm going to tell y'all something that's even deep. There are even times that we even plan, we went to the circus together. There are things that we still do together. And guess what, guys? It's not because, oh, I'm chasing after him. No. Oh, he's chasing after. No, it's because this is our kid. I don't have a problem with that. If his family invites me over to something, sometimes I'll go. If my family invites him over, sometimes he'll come. But guess what? This is what I'm saying. It's a whole type of maturity that is just not, that a lot of people don't have when it comes to co-parenting. It is possible. It can be harmonious. Even when my daughter was on Christmas break, and she's here with me all day long. He would call, hey, did you want to go to the gym? He knows I like to work out. Oh, you want to go to the gym? Because I was gonna come early so you can go ahead and go to the gym. Because it's still stuff that's important to me. I have learned to find myself within this situation. I have learned that I have learned to heal. I have learned that there's a type of freedom. Because being a parent, when you are doing this by yourself, and yes, in my household that I live under, it is me and her. So, yes, so there are times that I do need a break. There are times that I do get frustrated as a parent. And just him showing up and me being able to take off, I got to run to the store, or if I just need to go do something myself, if I was invited out to dinner, and I'm like, you would think that in some situations, parents will be like, well, yeah, come on, drop the kid off. I'm going to scoop her up, pack her bag. Everybody doesn't have those kind of conversations. And you know why we don't have it? It's because we don't make it that way. See, we be on that revenge, get back. I'm hurt. This is what I want to do to you. I want to get you back because you hurt me. Grow up. Grow up. Co parenting is possible. Do not allow your kid to be pretty much your experiment. It's like when I say you experiment, what I'm saying is that, well, okay, well, so this is going to happen. And then let me see what happens if I do this. And then let me see what the outcome is if I do that. Maybe if she's not around her mom like that, she won't feel like this. Maybe if she's not around her dad like that. Or maybe if I don't let her do these things because he wants to do it. No, because what you're doing is you're dumping all this stuff inside your kid. Anger, abandonment. She's going to be crying. It's like you're building this whole different, you're making her out of an experiment. You're seeing what happens if a cause and effect, sowing and reaping. What happens if I withhold the one person that my child loves just like me? What if I withhold all of that? What happens to your child? How's your child going to grow up? Are they going to grow up with resentment? Are they going to grow up with love? Are they going to be that child who feels like they can't go talk to their dad, even though they know they want to talk about an issue that they think that their dad could really help them out with? Or do they feel like I can't go talk to my mom because I'm dealing with some girl things, but I don't really know how to talk to my mom because I never was able to talk to my mom? Like, you don't know. While your child is 4, they're going to go through different stages of their life. They're going to need their parents. They're going to need that support. And it's not up to us to make parents obsolete in our child's lives. Especially in the times and the days and ages that we live in, if a parent wants to be involved in your child's life, of course you have to make sure you're on the same page when it comes to how you want to raise your child. That's why I said you have to be the parent that makes decisions. If it's anything that's unsafe for your child, anything that could be endangering to your child, that is when you have to do other things. But if it's something where you both on the same page, and because of you all are no longer together, and you are hurting and you're angry and you just want to withhold this child because you feel like this is how you get them back, remember, you're not getting them back. You're not getting them back. You are destroying your child. You are going to make them into somebody other than who God created them to be. We are our kids' superheroes. Regardless of how we feel as parents, there are just sometimes that people always say, oh, you've heard the saying, take the high road. Guess what? That's the road that we have to take. And I know I didn't want to talk for this long, but it's just I know where I started at when I entered into co-parenting. I know how I felt. I know how I had to go and detour a lot of the things that I wanted to actually do. And it's only because I told you all, it's some scriptures God will always put. It's 2 scriptures He would say. One of them was, if you sow to your flesh, you're going to reap the corruption. And I think about that. Sowing to your flesh means when you allow your way of thinking, when you allow how you feel, your emotions, what you think is the right way to do things. Yeah, when you think that that is how you should handle something, when you're angry or upset and you want to get back at somebody else, nothing good is going to come from that. Because something is always going to be destroyed behind it. And if your child is what you're using as part of your decisions to get back, you are going to start slowly destroying that child. You're going to start creating in that child fears and just sorrows and all kinds of things that they did not ask to partake in. When all your child knows is love, and now they feel abandonment, they feel sad, they feel like nobody cares. My mom doesn't care about me. Those are the things. That's the destructive part of it. And that was one of the biggest that was one of the scriptures that kept coming to me. And I thought about that too. I kept thinking, I can't. There's a way that seems right. There is a way that seems right to me. But the end thereof is destruction. It doesn't matter how hurt I am. I mean, it matters. But what I'm saying is listen to the whole thing. It doesn't matter how hurt I am, how angry I am. It doesn't matter how betrayed I felt. It didn't matter. Just in that moment, it didn't matter. when it came to my child, because I am not going to put anything in my child that shouldn't be in there. We think that kids, they always say kids are a product of their environment. Well, guess what? This is her environment. And in this environment, I choose peace. In this environment, I choose forgiveness. In this environment, I choose for her to see love. No, loving is not you walking through like, hey, what's up? No, we're not doing that. No. You see this face? No. It's the respect. It's the speaking. It's the communication. It's the things that we have to do to let my daughter see that while yet we may not be together, but there is a harmony that flows between us to make sure that her outcome and she's raised, because the scriptures tell me to train up my child in the way that she's supposed to go. And when I train her up, I want her to know that you don't always have to live your life by your emotions. You can't always make decisions when you're upset. Sometimes you have to learn to be the grown up, the mature one. You have to learn to take the high road and make the decisions because you got to see the big picture. Because sometimes some things are just moments when they happen, but when you allow those moments to just be moments and you move forward in your life, when you look back, you're like, wow, I'm glad that I handled it that way. And I'm seeing my daughter blossom into she's she's still a 4 year old, but she's just blossoming into this beautiful little girl. And it's just the proudness and the love that she gets from both her parents and this harmony that I'm not letting go of for her because she's worth it. She's worth seeing two parents who are on the same page and making it about her and not me. So I pray, guys, that this was something that really was helpful to you. And you can leave your comment. You can like this video. You can share this video. If it's something else that you want to share about co-parenting, you want to ask me any questions, you can feel free to leave them on there. But remember, this is my experience. And I just want you all to know that co-parenting is possible. Don't rob your child of having a great relationship with both her parents because of our own grown up messiness, because that's what it is. And I'm not saying that you sweep and throw away the things that happen, but it's a time and a place for that. But just remember, the number one most common factor that both of y'all have is that child. And that is who needs to see the best of her parents. So, as always, guys, I want you all to stay fabulous. And just remember, we got this. It's going to be okay. And you know what? I will see you guys later. Have a blessed one.